Assalamualaikum, Adab, good morning, Sat Sri Akal, Namaskar. My name is Sayyid Kaswar Abbas. Today I'm going to talk about United Nations Sustainable Development Goal number 3. It's about ensure healthy lives and promote well-being for all at all ages. So ladies and gentlemen, first of all, I'm going to define what is healthy lifestyle. Are your daily lifestyle choices setting you up for illness in later life, or even worse? Are they impacting your life right now? World Health Organization in 1946 defined health as a complete state of mental, physical, and social well-being, not merely the absence of disease. Wikipedia defines a lifestyle as the way a person lives. This includes pattern of social relations, consumption, entertainment, and dress. A lifestyle typically also reflects an individual's attitudes, values, or worldview. A healthy lifestyle is generally characterized as a balanced life in which one makes wise choices. Actual definition of healthy lifestyle is the steps, actions, and strategies one puts in place to achieve optimum health. Healthy living is about taking responsibility for your decisions and making smart health choices for today and for future. So healthy living would consist of these things. It's to start with physical for the body, good nutrition, eating right, getting physically fit, beneficial exercise, adequate rest, proper stress management. You also need to give and receive forgiveness and love and compassion. You need to laugh and experience happiness. You need joyful relationships with yourself and others. Emotional wellness, that's for your mind. Self supported attitudes, positive thoughts and viewpoints, positive self image. Now, spiritual wellness, inner calmness, openness to your creativity, trust in your inner knowing, and all aspects of oneself must work in harmony to achieve wellness. So you need to create a balanced life. Now, ladies and gentlemen, are you really living a healthy lifestyle? So I'm going to ask certain questions so you can assess your healthy lifestyle, that whether you're living or not. Do you wake up with enthusiasm for the day ahead? Do you have a high energy you need to do what you want? Do you laugh easily and often, especially at yourself? Do you confidently find solutions for challenges in your life? Do you feel valued and appreciated? Do you appreciate others and let them know it? Do you have a circle of warm, caring friends? Do the choices you make every day get you what you want? Now, ladies and gentlemen, now getting back to Sustainable Development Goal number 3, United Nations organization find out that less than half of the global population is uh, covered by essential health services. Health services does not include medical services only, rather all services related to well-being and living a balanced life. So they also keep on talking about immunization programs. So in COVID, they say that 70 countries, their immunization programs were interrupted. Since I'm not the expert on this topic, so will not deliberate too much on it. However, respected governments and people representatives must do due diligence in assessing quality, efficacy, and safety of the people after being administered with the vaccines. So, ladies and gentlemen, United Nations have also kept some targets and indicators for these sustainable development goals. By 2030, they want to reduce the global maternal mortality ratio to less than 70 per 100,000 live births. Also, by 2030, they want to end preventable deaths of newborn children and those under 5 years of age, with all countries aiming to reduce neonatal mortality to at least as low as 12 per 1,000 live births, and under 5 mortality to at least as low as 25 per 1,000 live births. By 2030, and the epidemics of AIDS, tuberculosis, malaria, and neglected tropical diseases, and combat hepatitis, waterborne diseases, and other communicable diseases. By 2030, reduce by one-third premature mortality from non-communicable diseases through prevention and treatment, and promote mental health and well-being. They also want to strengthen the prevention and treatment of substance abuse, including narcotics, drug abuse, and harmful use of alcohol. By 2030, halve the number of global deaths and injuries from road traffic accidents. By 2030, ensure universal access to reproductive health care services, including by family planning, information and education, and the integration of reproductive health into national strategies and programs. Achieve universal health coverage, including financial risk protection, access to quality essential healthcare services, and access to safe, effective, quality, and affordable essential medicines and vaccines for all. By 2030, substantially reduce the number of deaths and illnesses for hazardous chemicals and air, water and soil pollution, and contamination. They also want support the research and development for vaccines and medicines for communicable and non-communicable diseases that primarily affect developing countries, provide access to affordable essential medicines and vaccines in accordance with Doha Declaration on the TRIPS Agreement and Public Health, which affirms the right of developing countries to use the full provision in the agreement on trade related aspects of intellectual property rights regarding flexibilities to protect public health and in particular provide access to medicines for all. Now, there are other targets as well, and I would not really like to go too deep into it. You can always go on United Nations website and read these targets. But now, next thing which I want to brief you is about Lancet International Medical Journal. It publishes research trends. So they have recently published some reports. Number one, they say that South Asia has the highest burden of pregnancy loss globally and is one of the most polluted region in the world. The Lancet study finds that poor air quality could be responsible for considerable burden of pregnancy loss in the region. Number two, health and climate change are interwoven. The fact is now widely accepted. Newly published 2020 report includes novel indicators on heat-related mortality, migration and population displacement, urban green spaces, low carbon diets, limited access to green space, increasing risk factors for mental health conditions, and vulnerability to heat in people older than 65 years. COVID and climate crisis have exposed the fact that the poorest and most marginalized people in the society, such as migrants and refugee population, are always the most vulnerable to shocks. With regard to climate change, the most impacted by extremes have usually contributed the least to the root causes of the crisis. The association of air pollution with multiple adverse outcomes is becoming well established, but its negative economic impact is less well appreciated. It's important to elucidate this impact for India because India is a very big country. The Global Burden of Disease Study 2019 estimated that 9.39 million deaths and 467.8 million, they call it DALYs, DALYS, disability adjusted life years, were attributable to all components of air pollution in India in 2019. So, in this year, out of total DALYs attributable to air pollution in India, 39.5% were from lung diseases, 24.9% from heart diseases, 13.7% strokes, 5.5% diabetes, 14.5% neonatal fetuses and newborn disorders, and 1.5% cataract. 14.5% of neonatal disorders of 467.8 millions is ladies and gentlemen, 67.8 million disorders like mothers and fetus diseases, miscarriages, many other issues that can include risk of mother and newborn child disability or mortality. The Lancet Planetary Health also released an article on 1st January 2021 illustrating that women in South Asia being exposed to air pollution face an increased risk of pregnancy loss, miscarriage, and stillbirth. Researchers found that 3,49,681, it's about 350,000 pregnancy losses each year across India, Bangladesh, and Pakistan were associated with bad air quality. Women who have pregnancy loss can be adversely affected physically and mentally. Pregnancy loss increases the risk of postnatal depressive disorder and possibility of infant mortality during subsequent pregnancies. Lost output from premature deaths and morbidity attributable to air pollution accounted for economic losses of 28.8 billion US dollars and 8 billions respectively in India in 2019. The total loss of 36.8 billion US dollars was 1.3% of India's gross domestic product. Delhi is the highest per capita economic loss due to air pollution, followed by Haryana in 2019. Next point, ladies and gentlemen, is about total healthcare cost in India in 2019 was estimated to be 103.7 billion US dollars, with air pollution responsible for huge 11.5% of the disease burden in India in 2019. A crude estimate of healthcare cost of air pollution related diseases would be 11.9 billion US dollars. High burden of death and disease due to air pollution and its associated adverse economic impact could impede India's aspiration to be 5 trillion US dollars economy by 2024. Going further, South Asian countries need to urgently resolve their political and other conflicts so as to spare resources and budgets for most emergent weak areas like health and well-being of the vulnerable population ignored for very long, environmental improvement protection and sustainability. Now I'll like to talk about population aging trends. As per UN World Population Aging Report 2019, 703 million people of age of 65 or over, this number is projected to double to 1.5 billion in 2050. The share of population aged 65 year or over increased from 6% in 1990 to 9% in 2019. This population is projected to rise to 16% in 2050, when it's expected that 1 in 6 people worldwide would be aged 65 years and over. Ladies and gentlemen, globally, the number of persons aged 80 years and older nearly tripled between 1990 and 2019, growing from 54 millions to 143 millions. It's projected to triple again between 2019 and 2050. The number of persons aged 80 years or over is projected to show the largest percentage increase in Eastern and Southeastern Asia and Northern Africa and Western Asia. The pace of population aging has been fastest in Eastern and Southeastern Asia and in Latin America and the Caribbean. Older women currently outnumber the older men across the age range for 80 years and older. In 2019, OADRs, this is known as Old Age Dependency Ratio, were highest in Europe and North America, with 30 persons aged 65 or older per 100% ages 20 to 64 years. That is the working age. Followed by Australia and New Zealand, 27 older persons for 100 persons of the working age. This ratio is projected to rise considerably, reaching 49 per 100 in North America, and 42 per 100 in Australia and New Zealand in 2050. Although 10 countries are the areas with highest old age dependency ratio are predominantly European at present. More Asian countries and areas will be part of this group in 2050. Some of the newer measures, such as prospective old age dependency ratio (POADR), based on remaining life expectancy, suggest a slower increase in old age dependency. So this POADR is also similar, but its calculation is based on the age which is left. So this is also similar to OADR. Now going further, measures that take into account the age patterns of economic consumption and production indicate uh, that there will be considerable increases in the old age dependency. Population aging will bring a continuous increase in number of effective consumers at ages 65 and above per 100 effective workers at all ages. Globally, it is expected that this ratio will rise from 20 per 100 in 2019 to 33 per 100 in 2050. In 2019, two regions, Europe and North America, Australia and New Zealand, had highest economic old age dependency ratios with values of 43 and 36 per 100 respectively. Although sub-Saharan Africa and Oceania currently have lowest economic OADRs at 7 and 9 per 100 respectively. These ratios are projected to increase to around 10 and 15 per 100 respectively in 2050. Looking ahead, recent research shows that population aging will put increased financial pressure on old age support systems. In countries where public transfers are high, including many in Europe and Latin America, population aging will increase the fiscal pressure on public transfer systems, especially if current patterns of taxation and benefits remain unchanged. In countries where public transfers are relatively low, such as in many countries of Southern Asia and Southeast Asia, individuals and families are under pressure to find means of financing consumption at older ages. Now let me talk about the policy implications for achieving the sustainable development goals. Demographic trends, ladies and gentlemen, are closely linked to progress on sustainable development goals. Countries and areas have reached different stages of population aging. Forward-looking policies and programs taking account of current and future population dynamics are needed to attain sustainable development as articulated in the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development, and to fulfill the pledge that no one will be left behind. To maximize the benefit and manage the risk associated with population aging, governments should support continuing and lifelong education and health care for all, encourage saving behavior and healthy lifestyles throughout the life course, promote employment among women, older persons and other traditionally excluded from formal labor force, including through a gradual increase in the official retirement age, support family-friendly policies to facilitate work-life balance, and increase gender equality in both public and private life. Further, it is important to establish social protection programs that can be sustained over long term to prevent poverty, reduce inequality, and promote social inclusion among older persons. Promoting retirement savings can improve the financial independence of individuals and increase aggregate capital accumulation, enhancing financial literacy, providing incentives for saving and easier default enrollment schemes. There must be financial education and encouragement for all population to save and have financial protection covering risk to well-being and life. Government should be encouraging and supporting schemes for financial sector to recruit population, that no one is left behind towards the long-term goal of financial well-being and security. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to educate, and I would like to advise different segments, that different people, that what are their responsibilities, what you should take responsibility for. Now, everyone's responsibility should be that I will strongly recommend all to learn how to improve your long-term health and well-being. Everyone should be interested, because this is your personal aspect, it is your life and your family's life. So you need to take control, that how to improve your long term health and well-being. Connect with knowledgeable people for coaching on these lines. Explore all knowledge resources and put that knowledge to sustained practice. Review progress, make necessary corrections, and keep moving ahead without stopping. Now, there is some responsibility to rich people and privileged class people. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you are fortunate enough to have riches, you must use it for supporting younger generations, the poor and needy, in whatever way you can. The best way is to provide skills and education to poor people, orphans, widows, disabled, helpless women, for them to be financially independent, to support their lives and families. Now, government and United Nations, they have responsibilities to it also. They are doing their work, but what I feel, ladies and gentlemen, that governments and United Nations must have clarity and focus on right priorities. Those factors causing impediments to the people well-being must be exposed and removed, both at national and international level. I would request all of you to please spread this video and subscribe this YouTube channel for common goodness, because this is very important. Health and wellness and balanced lifestyle is very important for our present, future, our families, and all the societies and countries. So may Allah Almighty be our guide and protector. Ameen. Allah Hafiz, and goodbye for now. Best wishes.